All right, so in this video, we are going to go through arithmetic and geometric and some story problems for it. So I want you to pause the video and calculate the next three terms of the sequence and determine whether it's arithmetic, geometric, or neither. All right, so this first one here, it looks like I add 8. Then I add 8. Then I add 8. So if I subtract, then 66 minus 8 gets me to 58, then 50, then 42. So that's going to be arithmetic. Okay, this one, it looks like I can divide backwards. So 9 divided by -3 gets me -3. So that's actually what I multiply by forwards each time. And it looks like it works for every single set because we got to make sure it's the same thing every time. So 81 times -3 gets me -243. Times -3 gets me 729, times -3 gets me -2187. This one, it looks like I add 3, then add 5, so that doesn't work. So now I check multiplies. Pew, 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 pew. 1 times 4 gets me to 4, but when I times 4, it doesn't get me the next one. So this is going to be a neither. This other one was a geometric because I multiplied by -3. So let's see if we can keep this pattern going here still. So this one I add 3, then I add 5, then I add 7. So the next one I'm going to add 9. So 16 plus 9 is 25. Add 10 is 35. Add 11. Oops, sorry, that was supposed to be add 8. Take it back. So 16 plus 8 gets me to 24. Then that plus 9 is 33. And then that plus 10 is 43. So the reason it's a neither is because this number has to be the same all the way through. Okay, yes, there's a pattern that happens, but it has to be adding or subtracting or multiplying by the exact same number every single time. Okay, so on page 107, we're going to see if you can remember how to make an equation of a line. So pause the video, see if you can make the equation of these lines. All right, so last year you probably learned your y equals mx plus b to go into. There's another option that you have, and that's point slope form. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to show you both of them, and then you can kind of choose which route if you understand the point slope form. So my y equals mx plus b, I have to put in, this is my x, this is my y, and this is my m. So I'm going to kind of plug those in and then work from there. So my y value is 5. My m is 1, my x is 1. So I'm going to solve for b. So 1 times 1 is 1, and I subtract them over to get 4. So then y equals the slope, which I don't really need the 1 there, plus the y-intercept. So if I show you guys point slope form, this might be new to some of you, but I like it. So your points are going to go in for the x1 and y1. So I'm going to say y minus the y value, which was 5. The slope is 1, and then x minus the x value, which is 1. So now all I have to do is simplify. 1 times x is x. 1 times -1. And then the last step is to add 5. So -1 plus 5 is 4. The exact same answer. Okay, so my next one here, if I go in to y equals mx plus b, this is x, this is y, this is m. So I have 0 is equal to -2 times 0 plus b. -2 times 0 is 0. I don't really have to subtract 0 over. So b is just 0. So then y is equal to the slope. Again, I don't really need the plus 0. So then here's my point slope. Y minus the y value. The slope, x minus the x value. So I don't really need that y minus 0. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 0 is just 0. Same answer. So now let me erase this and kind of get in here. So x, y, m. So 3 is equal to 1/2 times the x plus b. Half of 2 is 1. Subtract the 1. I get b to be 2. So y is equal to 1/2 x plus 2. point slope form, y minus the y value, the slope, x minus the x value. This gets me 1/2 x minus 1. And then I just add my 3 over to get that positive 2. Same answer. Okay, so moving on, can I get a formula, right? A common ratio or common difference can help you determine the next term in a sequence. How can they help you determine the 1,000th term of a sequence, the 10,000th term of a sequence? Consider the sequence represented in this situation. Rico owns a sporting goods store. He agreed to donate $125 to the Owl Valley High School baseball team for their equipment fund. In addition, he will donate $18 for every home run the Owls hit during the season. The sequence is represented below. So at 0 home runs, we're going to call this our first term. How much money is it? It's $125. So then at 1 home run, which we're going to call our second term, we're now at 143. So let's continue our term number. So that's just like in my list, my first number in my list is 125. Okay. So 125, 143, 161, 179. So identify the sequence type and describe how you know. So the sequence, how do I get from 125 to 143 to 161 to 179? Well, it says he will donate $18 for every home run. So we are doing an arithmetic sequence, okay, because we are adding $18 every time. So continue that pattern going to get the rest of your numbers in here. Your end number should be 287. So it says determine the common difference or common ratio. It's difference of 18. Complete out the table. Explain how you can calculate the 9th term. So not the 9th home run, the 10th term, sorry. Oh wait, how can you explain how you can calculate the 10th term based on the 9th term? Okay, so to calculate the 10th term, you're going to add 18 to get to the 9th term. Okay, so if you haven't seen the explicit formula, here's our explicit formula. So we have our a sub n, our a sub 1 is our first term, our d is our common difference or distance, that's what I travel, and then n is going to represent like the term number. So notice that the n is here and here. So it's going to be the same number for both of those. And it's like a little subscript in here. So like when you do your slope equation, it's similar to this. It's not a times n. It's a little subscript telling you some like a specific term in it. Okay, so it says you can use the explicit formula to determine the 93rd term in the problem situation. So you're going to plug in the first term, which was 125. The distance they traveled, which is 18, and we're trying to find the 93rd term. Notice the 93 went in for both of those spots. Okay, in PEMDAS, parentheses comes first. So 93 minus 1 got them 92. Then they multiplied because I skip exponent. Next step is multiplication to get 1656. And then the last step we got to do is we got to add them together. Okay, so this next one here, we want to find the 35th home run. So my first term was 125. Okay, plus the distance I'm traveling is 18. I don't like how that wrote. Plus 18. And then the n is the same for both of these. So then you do your 35 minus 1 gets you to 34. Multiplication comes next, so 18 times 34 gets me to 612. And then I add that to 125 to get 737. So I want you to pause the video and get your next set of answers in here. Oops, 737. Okay, this one you should get your 48th home run should be $989. 86th should be $1,673, and your 214th home run will be $3,977. Okay. Rico decides to increase his initial contribution and amount donated per home run. He decides to contribute $500 and will donate $75 for every home run this all hits. Write the first 5 terms of the sequence representing the new contribution. So now we're starting at $500 and we're going up by 75 for every home run. So we're going to do 500, 575, 650. Each time just adding $75. So the next one's $725 and then $800. So then determine the 39th and the 50th. Okay, so I have the 39th. My first term this time is 500 plus the distance I'm traveling, which is 75 each time, and then I'm finding the 39th. So PEMDAS, parentheses first. So I get 38. Multiplications next. Oops. So 75 times 38, 2,850, and then I add that initial 500. 3350. So go ahead and try the next one without me. You're plugging in 50 this time. You should get $4,250. So that's arithmetic. Your geometric then is going to come in here. So animals, plants, fungi, slime, molds, and other living creatures are composed of cells. During growth, generally there is a cell called a mother cell that divides itself into 2 daughter cells. Each of these daughter cells then divides into 2 more daughter cells and so on. So the sequence is shown 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Describe why the sequence is geometric and identify the common ratio. So if you don't know, multiply forwards, divide backwards. Okay. We're multiplying by 2. That's my common ratio. So complete the table values. So before any cell divisions happen, we have the mother cell. Okay. So then the total number of cells for this, there's going to be 1. So then after 1 division happens, so my second term, then there's going to be 2. Then my third term, after my second, 4. And then we had 8, 16. Keep that multiplying by 2 as you go down. This is our 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, your very last number, you should get 512. Explain how you can calculate the 10th term based on the 9th term. We're multiplying by 2 each time. So our geometric equation we're going to go into, G sub 1 is going to represent the first term. The R in parentheses is the rate or the ratio you're going to multiply by. N is the term number you're trying to find again. And notice the N's are there. Okay, so if we're trying to find the 20th term, we're going to plug in the 20 for the N's. I'm going to use parentheses around that R. The first term was 1. The rate we multiplied by is 2. Okay, the 20 goes in for the N's. The only step you have to do in your by hand is 20 minus 1 to get 19. So then when you go to type this in your calculator, you're going to do 1, parenthesis 2, your caret symbol, and then 19 and press enter to get how many cells. So now trying to find the 11th. So we're going to say G sub 11 is equal to the first term was 1. We multiplied by 2. And then there's my N minus 1. So the only thing we have to do by hand is 11 minus 1 to get 10. So you'll type in your calculator 1, parenthesis, 2, parenthesis, caret, and 10. And we should get 2,048. Okay, so the next one, G sub 14. First term is 1. We multiplied by 2 each time. 14 minus 1, which is really 13. So for our 14th, we got 16,384. So pause the video, try the next 2. I'm just going to write in those answers. Okay, suppose that a scientist has 5 of those cells in a petri dish. She wonders how the growth pattern will change if the mother cell divided into 3 daughter cells. So writing the first 5 terms. So now we're starting with 5 mothers, and we're dividing into sets of 3. So 5 times 3 gets me to 15. times 3 gets me to 45. Times 3 gets me to 135. Times 3 gets me to 405. So when I go in to determine the 13th and 16th, I have G sub 13. My first term is 5. We're multiplying by 3. 13 minus 1. So then you're going to type in this into your calculator. So the 13th should give me this number. So go ahead and try the 16th as I'm writing in the answer. Pause the video before I write the answer in and try this one on your own. Okay, so last but not least, it says you watched an awesome video on YouTube. At 3 p.m., you shared a video link to 5 unique people. Then at 4 p.m., each of your friends shared it to 5 unique people. Then at 5 p.m., each of their friends shared it to 5 unique people. If this pattern continues, how many unique people will have viewed the video at 11 p.m.? So you watched an awesome video of YouTube. At 3 p.m., you shared. So you start with 1, and you shared it to 5 people. Then at 4 p.m., so this was at 3 p.m., this is 4 p.m. Okay, so then at 4 p.m., each of your friends shared it to 5 unique people. So only 5 people now found out. It wasn't 5 people each. So then my next one, I have 10 people. Then they shared it to 5 more people, which is 15. If it said each of those people shared it to 5 new people, that's a little bit different. So it just says 5 new people found out. Okay, so it's going to be an arithmetic equation that I'm going to go off of. So that's 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. I need to figure out what term I'm trying to find. So this is my first term, my second term, my third term, my fourth term. So I'm kind of 2 back from the time. So if I take my time, which is 11 p.m., and add 2 to it, I'm trying to find the 13th term. Okay, so I have a sub 13 is equal to my first term plus the distance I'm traveling. So a sub 13 parentheses come first, so I get 12 in there. Multiplication comes next. And then I add it. So 61 people will then know.